on game day. Simple things of how do we properly block, how do we catch the ball, how do we block after the catch, ball security, and things like that. It's the little things that you learn in youth league football that even at this level, they make a huge difference. I think our practice habits are yet to reflect a championship caliber team.
Practice. Not a game. Not a game. Practice. RC, any issue with Coach Johnson's comments?
Yes. Okay. Because Ben Johnson hasn't earned that yet. He hasn't earned the right to put his team on Front Street. Ben Johnson, you were brought there to change who the Chicago Bears were. Change who they were in the meeting rooms, change who they were on the practice field, change who they are on game day. And we always said, right, attitude reflects leadership. All we've heard from him since he's been there is I'm going to put pressure on people. I'm going to make Caleb Williams, I'm going to overload him, and we're going to have ups and downs. We're going to have 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Right now, I'm tired of hearing Ben Johnson talk. I want to see Ben Johnson coach. I want to see Ben Johnson make adjustments. I want to see who the Chicago Bears can be after the first 15 plays offensively. And so for me, I do have an issue with Ben Johnson because if his team isn't practicing at a high enough level, if they aren't playing and executing at a high enough level, that's on you. And so when we were talking about what our team isn't doing, the first thing that should have been said is, I'm not getting our team to do, to execute, to practice. Not they aren't doing. We are not separate. We hired you as the head coach of the Chicago Bears, not someone else.
Do you agree, D?
I absolutely love that Ben Johnson said this. Everyone is always looking for shortcuts. The shortcut is discipline. The Bears right now don't play with a certain style of discipline. And you will. The reality is, if you want to play a certain way, you have to practice a certain way. That's how sports work. And so we can run from it. And I understand the thought with RC of saying I've got to get them to do this. But I think in the context of hearing it all, he's saying we're just not doing this well enough right now. And it shows up. We all watched that tape. That defense was terrible in pass coverage. And they got 2 good players and 2 experienced players to look that way. So I love the fact that he's coming out and saying, we're not doing this good enough right now. And he's not talking to just Caleb Williams. He's talking to their offensive line and all the penalties that this offensive
So my
line.
question to you is this. You hold Patrick Mahomes to a higher standard than Ben Johnson. Because last week when we were talking about Patrick Mahomes, you say you love the way that Patrick Mahomes always accepted accountability no matter what was happening on his team when we knew Patrick Mahomes was not to blame. So you hold the quarterback to a different standard than you do the head coach. The head coach doesn't have to accept accountability for how his team doesn't perform.
I will always hold the quarterback to a higher standard than the head coach. Absolutely, because the guys on the field are following the quarterback, and they always have and they always will.
Yeah, but let me interject. Ben Johnson is a rookie head coach, because I'm siding with RC on this one, from the standpoint that you're a rookie coach, and maybe it's a bit direct, harsh, I don't know what the word is, where you're talking about, okay, he hasn't earned that yet, I understand it, but the flip side to it is this. You are the head coach. The priority is the quarterback, who was the #1 overall pick for last year's season, right? The man is with his 3rd head coach, his 4th offensive coordinator. You're a rookie head coach. I don't like the fact that you brought in Declan Doyle as your offensive coordinator because he's a rookie offensive coordinator. No knock against him, but if you've got this guy that's played 17 games and he's entering this season with his 3rd head coach and his 4th offensive coordinator, and that 4th offensive coordinator is a rookie, just like your head coach is a rookie head coach. I mean, what kind of seasoned coaching are you bringing to Caleb Williams? And then when you talk about habits for the rest of the team, like RC said, you came there to change that culture. You came there to address these very things that you're complaining about. You were supposed to be addressing this in training camp. You were supposed to be addressing this all on season. What is he talking about? He's talking about walkthroughs. Talk about practice habits. He's talking about making sure you put forth your due diligence even when he's not watching, not during a game, to make sure that you're in a position to maximize whatever potential you have. And he's saying that his personnel, there's cracks on his squad that ain't doing that, man.
Right.
That's a big deal.
So I agree that it's a big deal, but why is it a problem that he said it? Why is it a big deal?
Because it's his job. Because it's his job to make sure he doesn't have to say that. But why are you there? You don't coach. You ain't playing. You coach.
Okay.
It's your job to make sure they are doing that.
Just because he says it publicly doesn't mean that he's running from doing that job. And second thing is, and you know it greater than I because you were probably around better cultures when it comes to this stuff and habits, because it takes time to establish that.
Yeah, Dan, I in no way am saying that Ben Johnson isn't working to get a certain job.
Right.
I'm not saying that he isn't putting in the effort to get this team to be something, because we also know you get a new head coach because you had bad habits.
Right.
Habits aren't broken in the offseason. Habits aren't broken by week 2, right? We watched the Detroit Lions, who had this huge turnaround, only win 3 games in Dan Campbell's first year.
Yeah.
But everything about what Dan Campbell said, about what he did, was an encompassing culture of us, and it starts with me. I'm not saying he's wrong for thinking this about his team.
Yeah.
There's a level of accountability when you say we have to do it differently.
So it's the way he works.
It's about starting with me, though.
Yeah.
Right? And you know this. If I start with me, I can say whatever I want to say about us.
Sure.
Because now I'm included in us. I felt like he separated himself from his team, that this group of individuals that I took over is not working to the standards that I would like them to work.
Yeah, so the wording for you is the thing. And the only thing is we don't know exactly, and I should have beforehand, what was the question?
Yeah, that's true.
And what was he answering? Because it could have been from a reporter. How did you guys go from week 1, where you started off so well and fell off in the game, and then week 2, where you started off so well and then fell off in the game? Where is the disconnect? How come you're seeing that? Why did your secondary play so poorly? And so it might have been something where he's going, we aren't practicing a certain way or at a certain level just enough yet.
Right.
So like the question and how he answered it or why he answered that way is just as important.
Let me give it to you from a reporter's perspective.
Yes.
Covering the team. We go out there, right? And we listen to something like that. I promise you there are reporters in Chicago that's thinking about what RC said. They're going like this. What do you mean they're not practicing correctly? What do you mean they're not doing their walkthroughs? What do you mean they're not preparing properly on game day? Again, what are you talking about? Because we're looking directly at you. See, during the performance on the football field, yeah, it could be the coach, but it could be the player. Like you said, it could be Caleb Williams. It could be DJ Moore, some boy dudes say somebody ain't getting open. It could be those kind of things. It could be Swift not running the football field. We get all of that part. It could be the damn defense led by Dennis Allen, who was a defensive coordinator in New Orleans for 7 years before becoming the head coach over the last 4, and they gave up 79 points in the first 2 games of the season. It could be him. But when you're talking about habits, and you were the person that was brought there to address it, you're not thinking that that's something that needs to take place over time. You're thinking about immediately when you walk through the door. You're supposed to be worried about that man. Yo, I got to do this, I got to do it. This man ain't playing. This is a new man in charge. I got to make sure I'm handling my business on that front. And that's not what we heard.
But this is also sometimes, and I'm not saying this is the end of the story,
right,
where we in the NFL obsess with play caller. Really smart offensive mind or really smart defensive mind, you got to go be a head coach. And it's like, do you have all those other qualities that are needed?
And that's what we question. Once we find it out.
Yeah.
One of the best head coaches in this league was a special team coordinator in John Harbaugh. But he understood how to lead men, and he understood how to delegate. And maybe Ben Johnson is learning that now.
Got to move on because I got bills to pay, and I know you like your money. I know you do. Anyway, look.